Good afternoon, happy cooking. This is your flexitarian friend, Jael Tenti. And good morning for those of you who are in a different part of the world. And for those of you who are even farther another part of the world, good evening. So today I'm going to show you how to make delicious potatoes. These are delicious mashed potatoes that you don't even need to drain the water, because truly, why would you ever want to drain the water? So we already know that potatoes have more vitamin C. One potato has more vitamin C than an orange. And so a lot of people stay away from the potatoes because they think the potatoes have the starch that is going to damage, but it's not. Au the contrary. You need the potatoes because they're loaded with potassium. You need the potatoes because they're loaded with vitamin C. There's so much nutrition in here, but we're throwing away the nutrition by cooking them with water. So if you cook with water, your potatoes, especially you take the skin off, then you cut the potatoes, you dunk them in water, and then you cook them at high temperatures, until the valve starts to doing like this, you're destroying your vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. So the most important thing is, if you really want to build your immune system, you need to eat better, you need to cook in a better cookware, you really need to do things out of the ordinary. So let me show you how to make potatoes with literally no water, because whatever water I'm gonna put in there, that's the same kind of water that I'm going to use to mash the potatoes. So number one, I'm using the 3/4. If you notice, the beautiful thing is that this cookware has even heat distribution. So literally, the only reason why we use water is because water surrounds the heat, but we don't need the water because most vegetables already have a high percentage of water. So anyway, I already washed my hands for all of you who are very concerned, but don't worry, I'll probably be eating this food. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take some potatoes and have these gorgeous potatoes that I harvested from my garden yesterday morning. So they're a day-old potato, put it that way. Okay, so first let's cut them. I'm leaving the skin and everything. So you need to see this part. See, these self-mess. So I can take it out of the way so you can see a little bit better. But in fact, I'll keep the lid in there. So let's cut the potatoes into big chunks, just about that, okay? So how many potatoes I'm going to do, that doesn't matter. It depends how many people you're gonna be cooking for. The recipe's gonna be the same. So if it's a large potato, you wanna make sure that you cut them in 2-3 pieces. Why? So in that way, everything cooks evenly, okay? So if I was doing potato wedges, the same thing. So let's use all these potatoes that I have in here, just enough for about 4 people. So super easy to make, and these potatoes are so sweet, you don't even need anything. You don't even need any salt. That's good enough. So how many potatoes did I make this? This is a 3/4 right here. So I put about half full. Then the next thing that I'm going to add is water. Normally, how much water you put on your potatoes? You fill it all the way to the top. When do you know to turn it down to low? You never do. It's over boiling. So with the Salamaster cookware that I'm using today and every day for the last 22 years that I've been cooking in the Salamaster, you just put the potatoes, you take some water. It doesn't have to be hot water. This is just tepid water from, I just put it in here because I'm gonna boil some water. So that's 1 cup of water. That should be enough. In fact, that's too much water. So 3/4 of a cup of water, okay? All I need is about 1 inch at the bottom that later on will help me mash the potatoes. So the next thing that I do is I put the cover on. I'm going to put it in this burner over here so you can continue to look. Turn it to medium. When the vapor valve, this little vapor valve, okay, activates at 185 degrees, so high enough to preserve the vitamins and minerals, but so low enough to preserve the vitamins and minerals, but high enough to kill bacteria, okay? So always remember, 185 degrees Fahrenheit. When it clicks, The sound will be made by itself because when the temperature rises, it'll activate the valve. Once the valve starts to click, even if you turn it at high heat, once the valve starts to click, it's 185 degrees. And my trick, tip, when the valve's clicking steady, I touch it. If it's hot to the touch, I turn it down to low. Because sometimes there is a fake click. And that fake click could cost you hours of cooking in this cookware. And you don't want to do that. You want to make sure as soon as the vapor valve clicks steady, you touch it, you don't open it, you touch it. Unless you're going to add something to it, you don't open it. Because otherwise that add more time. And we want to save more time. Okay, so medium, when the valve clicks steady, we turn it down to low. In fact, I'm not gonna put any salt on these potatoes because there's no need to it. Or if I feel like I want it, then I'm going to easily just add it at the end. So 3/4 of a cup of water to half full of potatoes. Now, the next dish, so I'm doing this one first because this is the one that is gonna take a little bit longer. So I'm gonna turn on my stove for the water because I'm gonna need boiling water and I'm gonna show you why, okay? So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to prepare the chicken, okay? So we don't need this stuff. I'm gonna put it here for a moment. And so let's focus on making the chicken. So grab your, this is not gonna take that long, so it's super fast. I've never seen such a deliciousness super fast. So what we do is we're gonna bring the chicken, and you can do like tidbits, you can leave it full. The most important thing is when you get your chicken, there's no need to wash it because it's already washed from wherever it comes, the manufacturer, or the processing plant, I should say. But sometimes there's too much water, especially even if it's frozen, when there is too much water. So if you notice that's kind of like liquidy, most important thing is grab a paper towel and dry it really good. So if you want that kind of a dry grill style chicken, you want to make sure that it's dry. So I dry, and then if possible, put it on a tray, kind of like the oval baked dish that I was using, and put it in the fridge for a little bit so it will dry the meat. Okay, that's really important. So since it was in the fridge a little bit ago, so I probably collected a little bit of the moisture, the water. Okay, so that's one thing. The only time that I use gloves is to touch meat, nothing else, okay? So, because I wanna make sure that my love, my energy is transferred into the foods that I'm cooking. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to grab I'm gonna preheat this pan right here, but I want you to see. So I'm gonna preheat, I'm gonna do it on the 12-inch gourmet skillet, okay? I'm going to preheat it right now. And then, so I can bring this so you can see what I'm doing a little bit closer. Now, if you don't want your cutting board to be messed up with meat, I mean, you're still gonna wash it, but I don't like to have any remnants of meat in there. So I like to take a little bit of paper, like this is parchment paper. You know, double it up if you can, just don't burn your house. And now we're gonna take the chicken, and this is basically chicken that has been deboned, okay? And since I wanna make it in small strips, it's been deboned and it's got no skin, okay? So let's make just some little, chunks of it. Or you can do strips if you were making like chicken fajitas, you can do strips as well, okay? But today is not chicken fajitas. This is gonna be a honey garlic chicken. There's so many things that you can do with this. So let's cut it up. I was talking to a friend yesterday and she says, oh, my favorite, my kid's favorite, it's honey garlic chicken. I thought, well, you know what? That's something I haven't made in a long time. This household, they don't eat chicken. I mean, there's only one person that eats chicken, me. and maybe one other person, but other than that, sometimes I have to give away the food. Okay, I used to have a dog, and the dog will eat the delicious organic chicken, but now, well, my dog is on a diet. My dog is no longer around. We still have a dog, but it's my daughter's dog, but she won't let me feed the dog because the other dogs were too spoiled. Then they didn't want to eat their regular dog food. They just expected filet mignon and delicious chicken and this and that. Actually, they still eat carrots too, you know, just to let you know. So you see, even though I dried this, it still have a little bit of juice in there. That goes to show you that sometimes meat, they put water probably to increase the weight. And once you like take it home, you know, you'll see all this water in there. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. That was my disappearing act for a moment. And now, I'm gonna grab a bowl and then just put all this meat right here. Oops, now I have meat that fell. Okay. So see, now I'm gonna show you. You don't have that mess of chicken in there. So, but I'm still gonna wash it. Please do still wash your cutting board. And wash your hands if you touch something. Okay. So you hear the vapor valve clicking? Let me show you the camera right there. So this is really clicking steady. So when it's clicking steady, so what I do is 1, 2, 3, it's freaking hot. Then turn it down to low. So then the valve will stop. If you have a stove that is a cast iron stove or a glass top stove, those stoves stay really hot even after you turn it to low. Even if you have a professional like a stove, it will also, if the heat is too high, it will continue to click. So the best thing that you can do is just remove it off the burner just a little bit, and then the heat will still continue to cook it. But once the vapor valve goes into a semi-vacuum, then you'll be able to return it back to the middle. Okay, so if it continues to cook, that means it hasn't gone into a vacuum. If it continues to click, it hasn't gone into a vacuum. But if it shuts off the valve, the vapor valve, then you're good. So that means that it already gone into semi-vacuum, and I can feel the resistance. Then I know that it's going to be cooking in half the time. Okay, so for the chicken, I'm going to keep that open because I'm going to need some gloves in a moment. So number one, you know, meat, anything that is meat is always inflammatory. So what we do is, to counteract some of the inflammation, we're going to use a teaspoon of turmeric. Not only that, it will give it a great color. It'll look absolutely beautiful. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I want to make it a little bit red. And so I'm going to give about a teaspoon of the paprika. And I'm going to take some black pepper, as much as you can or as little as you want. Or as much as you want or as little as you see it fit. You know me, I love spicy. So it's very important for me to have spice in my life. Without the spice, no can do. So yesterday I made this beautiful habanero sauce. Do you remember? Let me get a spoon. By the way, look at my shoes. They match my dress. There you go. Anyway, wanted to show you that. Habanero sauce. Let me show you how beautiful it looks. You can put it on everything. Your spice is so important for you because it helps bring oxygen into your arteries. Look at this. And smells amazing. So I'm going to put, and this already has the garlic, it has the habanero, but I still want it a little bit more garlicky. That's how much I would put. I would not put more than that because it will be very, very, very spicy. In fact, I'm gonna leave the spoon in there because it has a little bit in there. And then the next thing, if you like, it's up to you. I want to use today a little bit of saffron. I love saffron. So saffron, look at this. This is like gold. This is like more expensive than cannabis. Okay? So now I'll do is I'm just going to throw a few threads just because it gives it a beautiful color. And I love the flavor. So you don't have to do this. This is very expensive. You can just use the paprika, but I have it, you know, and my job is to make sure that I have that I use everything that I have at home. And lastly, we're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons approximately of olive oil. Now, next thing is you are going to bring, before I finish it, we're going to add sea salt. I put approximately 2 teaspoons. I already know how to eyeball it. And this right here is mustard, so yellow mustard. So it's like a honey garlic mustard. And I'm gonna take, because it's the last of the bits inside my fridge. Okay, that's the last little bit. So sometimes I like to put a little bit of water, so it's unnecessary then. So I still have enough to use it on a vegan dog. Okay, for my husband, since he doesn't eat chicken. Okay, so most important thing, and now the garlic. So we need to have some garlic. So for the garlic, I didn't use this. So just put it in your little garlic crusher. And these were frozen garlic. Remember, I bought a big bag, and so now I need to use it. I got 3 garlics. You want it really garlicky because garlic is a protector of your immune system. Okay, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's like anti-negative people too. Just kidding. All right, so that's about 6 garlic cloves. And now we're going to wear our gloves, right? Because we threw away the other ones. In fact, I could have just washed my hands with the other one, but I didn't want to do that. Okay, so I'm preheating my pan over there. So see that little bit that I have on the spoon? Okay, I'm just gonna take a piece of chicken and then just clean it. And that most definitely I would wash with Clorox because, you know, chicken is kind of, as delicious as it is, it could be a little bit nasty. I don't want to use the same little sponge. You know, if I cook something, if I cook chicken or eggs, you know, I'll use the sponge only once. I throw it away, and then I will have to get another one, brand new. So see, the idea is to emulsify the chicken. So there it is. You know, and make sure that it's like, you know, that you rub it on each of the pieces. So that way you have the flavor in there. Okay, we don't put the honey yet because otherwise it will burn in your pan and we don't want it burning. Okay, so let me get the pan over here so you can see. See, it's very, very hot. How do you know it's hot? Let me show you the tip. If you put a little bit of water, and look at the water beads like this, like a little mercury steel. It goes, let's see how you can chase the little ball there? That's water, okay? That's how you know if it's already, some of you can't see it, but that's how you know that it's already preheated perfectly, okay? So let's keep this so the temperature doesn't come off. And this is still clicking. I don't like it when it's clicking. So see, right now it's just not, there you go, now it is. Sometimes to get it into semi-vacuum, I would just like turn it. All right, so Let's use, this is really perfectly preheated, so now we're just gonna take the little chunks. So since I already put a little bit of olive oil here, I don't need to put it in the pan. And make sure that you leave enough room between the pieces so they really grill, so no crowding, okay? You need to do some social distancing within your chicken. Beautiful. So this is how you grill. This is the perfect way to grill. And so whether you're making fajitas or you're just making chicken strips for the kids, this is the best way. Now, if you're breading the chicken and you're pounding a little bit of the chicken, then you might need to put a little bit of oil in the surface of the pan, but not by a lot, only a little bit. But in this case, I put it on the chicken because I have no breading in here. The key with this is you need to keep it at medium high. Remember how I told you the salad master cook below boiling point? That's for vegetables, that's for fruits, those are for things like berries. But when it comes to meat, it's already dead. You're not gonna kill anything. The only thing that you're doing is getting to the protein of it. You're not gonna eat raw beef, raw chicken, maybe raw fish, but I still think that raw fish, not my favorite, okay? But I'm not gonna judge anyone who eats it. But I do like ceviche, but I guess that's cooked in lime or lemon. It is delicious, but I don't always eat it because honestly, I just, the fact of eating something raw, only raw vegetables, not raw fish. Okay, so for the, I'm not gonna move into the next one because I wanna make sure my beef and broccoli is gonna be like a quick fry. That's gonna be the fastest, quickest stir fries ever. Okay, so this is still clicking, so I'm going to either turn it down to low or just lower, or I just move it off the burner a little bit so it continues into a semi-vacuum. I want my potatoes to be so soft that they will be so fluffy without putting any dairy, without putting any milk, any butter, or anything. You just watch, you'll see. So whenever you're cooking meat, you don't want to use the fork to lift them. You want to use tongue. So in that way, it doesn't pierce into the meat. It doesn't matter if it's chicken or it's beef or it's fish. Do not touch it with a fork in terms of like flipping it over. So but usually if you're making this with full chicken breast, or if you're doing this with like chicken thighs or even chicken legs, you want to make sure that you give it at least like 5 minutes on each side to make it a really nice grill. The other tip is, if the meat doesn't lift while you try to lift it and you notice that's still sticking, that means that it has not seared. Because you see, the pans are virtually non-porous, but the meat is highly porous. Like meat is kind of like in a body. So if we are basically temperature here, you know, nothing's going on, I'm not exercising or anything, you know, my pores are not open, my pores are closed. But think about this, if you go and exercise, right, what has happened? Your body heats up, and then the pores in your body start to open up. So when you're cooking with your Salad Master cookware, at the beginning, the chicken will stick because the chicken is porous. But the pan is non-porous, so there won't be that catching the holes in the pan with the holes in the chicken. So automatically, the chicken wants to hang on to the pan, but because the porous already here and the pan has no porous, it will just release just like that. Like this. Look at this beauty. See? So the idea is for you to not even start to lift anything until at least 5 minutes that you've been cooking it. And look at how beautiful. I didn't put any, look at this. Look at how gorgeous. See, I didn't put even any oil in there. And look at how quickly, within 5 minutes, I can flip my little chickadee here. Look at this beauty. You know, some of them are a little bit, oh, there you go. They're all coming off. And I just want to show you that even if you put it on the side, because this is even heat from tip to tip, you're still going to have a beautiful golden chicken. So just let me show you real quick on the one side. Let me turn this off so I don't burn myself. And the smell is incredible. But look, how quickly was I able, remember to turn back the stove. How quickly are you able to cook a delicious meal for your family at home? Much faster than getting in the car, driving over there, picking it up, someone else is making it. Believe me, I know that you might have a lot of time in your hand, and some of you like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Not me. I love to be in the kitchen. I love cooking. I love putting my love and my energy in the kitchen, but I don't want to be cooking all the time, and I don't want to be cleaning all the time, okay? So I'm going to serve this with like a delicious noodle or something. So these are all ready. I can start pulling them out. I don't like to add raw meat while I'm still cooking the chicken, okay? So look at this beauty. Gorgeous pan. Oh, gorgeous chicken. Okay, so we're gonna set this aside. Okay, just like if you're in a grill. So they still continue to cook, but now I can use this other side to cook my rest of the chicken without touching the raw with the cook. Okay? And if you feel uncomfortable having it there, because that was a big chunk, then what we can do is we can take a pan. Let's use this little pudding pan, and I'm going to move it off of the burner for a little bit, because this is already 90% cooked. Okay, check that out. And I'm just going to keep it here for now. And then I'm going to add my other chicken so it'll cook super fast. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. So keep the temperature at high. Don't be shy. Because that's the whole idea. Whenever you're grilling, you know, no different than a grill at a restaurant, right? They have it at really high temperature. So the same thing, wait for about 5 minutes. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to check on my potatoes. So open it up. Ah, this is perfect. Nice. They're done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off, or actually keep it really, really, really low, because I want to show you separate from this dish what I am doing. Okay, so see, some of these are cooking super fast, less than 5 minutes, right? But if you like it really nice and brown, leave it the full. I mean, for this small of chicken bites, you don't really need to give it like 5 minutes on each side. You just want to give it probably about 3 minutes on each side, and you have a beautiful grill looking, you know, like this. See that? That's fantastic, right? Look at this, non-stick. So just with that little bit of oil that you add to the meat, and believe me, yeah, you can cook with absolutely zero oil in this pan. But I choose to cook with a little bit of oil, because I like my herbs and I want my ingredients to emulsify, and I want the chicken to be very moist. I don't like chewy chicken, because I feel like if I don't put a little bit of oil, I feel like the chicken is a little bit chewy. And honestly, the only thing chewy that I like is Chewbacca. Now, come on, give me a break. Have a little laugh. All right, so there you go, almost. You can do the same thing with pork, and with pork it's even a little bit better, because pork has so much fat, especially if you're doing like a lechon, like lechon kawale or something like that. You don't need the oil, because it already has a lot of fat. You're using pretty much bacon. Like bacon, you need zero oil, because bacon is like 80%, you know, like fat. You know, and the fact is that after you're done cooking bacon and you put it in the stand, you'll have like a lot of bacon fat. And by the way, bacon fat, you can later on use it for cooking, making french fries, doing whatever you want. You know what I mean? Back in the days before all these refined oils, I mean, I grew up with suet and bacon fat, because that's what people had. That was the natural thing to do. That was not, it was not a luxury. It was not like being fat. And you know, back in the days, people were not fat. People were not dying. 50 plus years ago, it was rare to see somebody with heart disease. I truly believe the people that brought the heart disease is the same people, you know, that have the golden arches. They're the same people that are selling all those foods through drive-through because it's not healthy food. You wonder why people are sick this day and age? Is because their immune system has been lowered, you know, for cooking and eating lower quality food. Lower quality food and lower, like, quality cookware, you're gonna have low quality food. Okay, so that's done. That's pretty much. And so now I'm gonna bring the rest of the chicken. Juicy. And now I want you to see how gorgeous. Now I'm gonna take the honey. Because honey is something that you don't want to cook too much, okay? Because honey is a natural preservative, but it's also a natural, it preserves also, like if you have a cut, it will heal. It's an antiseptic. But if you are going to cook the honey, it's going to lose its properties. And this honey will protect your immune system like nothing else will. I guarantee you, it is just amazing. So, keeping it on medium high, I'm going to take my little honey. About 2 tablespoons. And you know, I like to put on this a little bit of lemon. Honey, lemon, garlic chicken, the best ever. So I'm gonna turn it off because I don't want it to overcook or turn it too low. And get a little lime. It could be lemon, it could be lime, it could be, you know, some sort of citrus for sure. And by the way, I also have something here. So if you want to serve it with noodles, so this is already turned off. If you want to serve it with noodles, I have the noodles over here. And then take your hot water and you can add fresh cucumbers to it. You can add some hot boiling water to the noodles. And then just let them sit there for a little bit. Get a clean fork. While you watch the noodles getting soaked. I should have done this a little bit earlier, it's okay. No problem. So the noodles, these are rice noodles, it will soak. And in the meantime, look at this beauty. So now we have perfect honey garlic chicken bites. I'm gonna turn this off so you can see. And look at that. Absolutely beautiful, super fast. This meal right here, it'll take you really 15 minutes to make. Way 15 minutes. This will be amazing if you want to do some lemongrass. It'll be amazing. Throw a little bit of cilantro. Let me show you. So once this is finished, my noodles, I'll show you what to do. Now, sometimes I like to flavor my noodles, okay? And one of the flavors that I like to add is, this is called better than bouillon. Now, all of you guys know, if you're using the Knorr, I used to call it Knorr, but the K is silent, right? So it's not Knorr, it's Knorr. Knorr, Maggie, all that stuff is full of MSG. Truly bad for you. It kills brain cells. So do not use MSG on any of your cooking. Watch MSG on every single can of either Chinese food or Vietnamese food, any of Asian food, because they're used to the MSG. Us, people here in the western side of the universe, we do not eat MSG. Even though, yeah, there's a lot of Chinese people in this country and in this hemisphere, in this part, but we are not used to MSG, so don't eat MSG. Me, if I eat MSG, when I was in China, I was in Beijing and I went to the wall of China, you know, I couldn't eat a lot of stuff. I would have to ask them, you know, is there MSG in there? And they're like, oh, no MSG, but I know I had MSG because instantly, as soon as I ate it, headache, big time, okay? So what I do is, if you want to flavor the noodles, this is beautiful. It's made of vegetables and sea salt. So I always watch the ingredients. So let me take like a little spoon and we're gonna add it to the noodles. So take about a spoon like this big, and then look at the color of the noodles, how it will change. And it'll have a beautiful flavor. If you want, like I said, you can make it completely with none of it, but for me, this is the way to do it. So the noodles only need to sit about 5 minutes in the water, and you notice how the water is being absorbed. You don't have to have the noodles. If you don't want the noodles, then I'm gonna show you how to make this dish with the potatoes. But I'll serve it both ways so you can see. Now, test the noodle. Get like a little piece. This is a clean fork. Let's use the clean fork. Especially if I'm gonna make some vegetarian food out of here, then I don't wanna mix it all together. Okay? So this is mung bean or rice noodle. You can, mung bean is probably better for you. So it still needs a little bit because it feels kinda, you know, tough. It's too al dente. Okay. But look at the fish, the chicken is done. So I'm gonna put it here for a little bit and I'll show you how to do it. Now let's mash the potatoes. So we have still the water there. So let me show you. See, fully cooked. So now what I do is I'm gonna take some of that water that I use, which a lot of minerals are in here, and I'm gonna put it aside because I might not even need it all. I should have put only half a cup. I didn't realize, but these were new potatoes, so I've never cooked with new potatoes. Okay, mash with the little bit. Okay, let me bring it a little bit closer so you can see right here. So mash it with a little bit of the water, okay? Not all the water. So if you put a little bit too much water, so new potatoes, as you can see, they hold more water. So that's why I ended up taking about half a cup of the water from there. And now just let me take a wee bit of coconut oil. Coconut oil, it's a must for me. It has been helping me keeping a little bit healthier than any other oil. Even though I love olive oil, don't kid yourself that I don't eat the oil. But for my health, and because coconut oil produces monolauric acid, which is actually the comparison of babies like mother's milk. So you have a lot of good stuff in it, okay? So that's the reason why, and also it's antibacterial, antifungal, and all that sort of thing. It helps with burns and cuts and all kinds of stuff. So it's a miracle oil. So then I just take the little coconut oil and then just whip it up really nice. See, I even put the skin and all. And as you watch, you think that I turned this off, but you can tell that it's still a little bit clean. You can make this potatoes without the, like I say, without the salt. But if you want to taste it and see if it needs a little salt, and I doubt it because coconut oil is sweet. I don't think it needs it because it's very, very like sweet from, I mean, you can go potatoes, naturally they're really sweet, but let's check this out. And look at that, no sticking at the bottom. Beautiful, perfect whipped potatoes. If you want, you can add butter, but seriously, no need. If you want, you can add milk, but seriously, no need. Cream or all that stuff. Now, if you're reducing the fats and oils from your foods, wouldn't that be a little bit better for you? I know that some people are in the ketogenics and they like to eat a lot of fat, but I don't think that, you know, certain fats or cooking with oil is gonna make a difference. So make sure that, you know, that you eat healthy. Try to avoid like these saturated fats that are not good for you. Like even though coconut oil is medium chain fat, it's not a saturated fat. It's really good. It actually melts at temperature, like body temperature. So it's like a 98.6, something like that. But that's perfect, okay? So I'm gonna put that out of the way, and now let's check on the noodle-rama. The noodles are really done now. So you can leave them white. You can add a little bit of spinach or bok choy or whatever you like, but let me show you. So now we just take, so I'm gonna show you what to do this next. Take your little noodles with a bit of common sense here. And they're perfect. I like to add cabbage sometimes, but today I have no cabbage in the house, so I work with what I have. My husband used up all the cabbage. Okay, now we put that in there, take some mint. Take some wee bits of mint. Mint gives it a great flavor, and mint is such a great, also this is like the father of all mints. I don't know if it's the father or the mother. I think it's the mother of all mints, of all herbs. It is such an amazing thing, you know, even, you know, it's really good even against mosquito bites, okay? Any bites, any vicious bites. So put a little bit of that. And of course, as you know, I love also cilantro. So these are now extras, okay? This is not something that you have to do, or this is something for you to think about what else can you do without that you can integrate fresh herbs. That's why I love Vietnamese food, because they have so much fresh ingredients on their foods. And so now I just take a wee bit of the, so you got this, and now we're gonna put some of the chicken bites, and there you go. So in 10 minutes, you have a beautiful honey garlic lemon bites served with noodles, okay? So that's one recipe. So I'm gonna put it on the side. And then for the beef, okay, let's move this out of the way. So for the beef, the same thing. So let's go back, but this time it's gonna be a simpler recipe. Oops. Let me make some room over here. Somehow I always end up with a chaos in my kitchen. Why? I have no clue. So that part you have to bear with me while I clean this. And don't worry, I know that I dropped something here, so I'm gonna clean with this, and then a clean. A clean and a clean. Wipe it, and then let's get another clean over here. And this right here is my antifungal, antiviral. This is, I use peppermint and other natural essential oils for all my counters. I never use Lysol. I always use my essential oil. So if you're not into that program, get on it. It's way better for you. Have another thing here. So, okay, so the first thing that you want to do is preheat the pan. Okay, now we are going to chop up some beef. And so what I have in here is some filet mignon. You don't have to use filet mignon, but so it happened I had some left over. And so, remember, touch the meat. You use gloves. Cutting the meat in your cutting board, always protect your cutting board. Okay, I'm gonna bring it here. I'm sure that you can see from there. Yes, yes, yes. Because otherwise my paper will burn next to that. Okay, let's put on these babies here. And we are going to get the meat, cut it up. Let me use another glass so you can see. See if you see me with that. Okay, so I have this beautiful filet mignon. So use a very sharp knife. And I put everything in there. I put the fat and all that. I'm not worried about it. I mean, this beef is like butter. It's like really tender, super, super tender, okay? And then half again. So cut with the grain so it goes like this. And like I say, use a sharp knife and then cut in half. Then here, it will shrink anyway, so it's okay. You know, cutting it in long pieces like this. It's okay if it has some little chunky, smaller ones. Okay, that's done. That's my little filet mignon. We take this out of the way. I have some tamari here, so let's begin with, first, taking my glove off. Let's put some black pepper. Or white pepper will work. Okay, then the next thing, we're gonna add some garlic. And I need a clean spoon. Or fork. Super simple. And by the way, you can do the waterless cauliflower. I might do that too, instead of putting it on the beef. But since I'm in the project of having, doing a little bit of an Asian flair, we could do that. But if you're not into eating soy sauce and stuff like that, you can just grill the beef and and then you put the broccoli on the 1 quart, right? But we're gonna do it all at once. Okay, and I do have brown rice that I can serve this with. Okay, that can be gone now. And as well, on this, I'm going to add a little bit of, what is this called? Paprika. I love paprika because it's a natural antioxidant. Okay, and this will give it a nice smoky flavor. Did I add the sea salt? Not yet. So add a little bit of sea salt. If you plan to do soy sauce, don't put any salt. And then on this one, these are my chili flakes. I like spicy. And the other one, I put the habanero. I put chili flakes on this. Then let's mix it really good. And in fact, I'll use one glove because I like to emulsify it. And in fact, I'm going to preheat this one here. All right, so let's take it out, you know, mix it really good. That's the idea. And one thing that you can do on this is if you don't want it like too juicy, then you can add a little bit of flour. But usually that happens when you have like really cheap cut meat that they injected probably some water so they can get more volume in it, okay? So mix it really good. Usually with beef, we need the olive oil. Usually with beef, before you cook it, make sure that you are leaving it for about 20 minutes before you cook it. Okay, so tablespoon of the oil. Remember, I like to put it on the meat, not on the pan. So you want to make sure that that pan is fully preheated. Okay, so I'm gonna put it at high. I went from medium to high. So just give it a nice rub, put some great intentions on your meat, put some love. By the way, have you guys ever seen the movie Like Water, Like Chocolate with Johnny Depp? That should tell you everything. It's already a great movie. I love Johnny Depp. My daughter fell in love with Johnny Depp. It's too bad that she didn't marry Johnny Depp. So anyway, so Like Water, Like Chocolate is such an amazing movie because it reminded me of this little book that I read like over 25 years ago that it was called, it was like a vegetarian, some kind of Indian cooking, but it was like sentient cooking, which is said that whenever we're cooking, we have to be cooking in a great mood because when you're in a great mood, in a loving mood, you transfer that energy to your food. Likewise, if you're in a grumpy mood or you're in a mad mood, that same energy will transfer to the food. So watch out when you are cooking, you know, make sure that your thoughts are pure and that you're clean and that you're happy and then you're singing, and that energy will transfer to your family. That's how beautiful this is. The only reason why it reminded me of Like Water, Like Chocolate is because in that movie, that was exactly what was happening. You know, the woman, you know, was, whenever she was cooking, whatever she was feeling was transferring to the food. And when she served it to her guests, sometimes people were laughing, some people were crying, because it depended at the time, you know, that she made that food. It's really fun, you know, go watch it because, I mean, just the fact that it's like a very heartwarming movie. Okay, so now that this is preheated, you already know, do the water test, but I can feel the heat coming. So I'm gonna put my meat. And this will cook super fast, so hurry up and put the meat there fast. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with too much smoke, not enough cooking. So you see, you can even put it on the side. Because it's even heat distribution, I don't have to worry. Ordinary pans usually have the heat only at the bottom but nothing at the side. I mean, some people eat raw. This is something that you can eat, you know, not cooked all the way. But I still would not want to eat it raw, put it that way. Some people do, they're crazy. So we wait for maybe about 2 minutes because these are really small bites. And look at this. Look at how beautiful. See? I mean, I probably could have used the 12-inch gourmet skillet here. I can smell the heat. And that's why it's like, oh no, I'm gonna start coughing now. But look at how quickly your meat is just cooked. And even the one from the side, look at how quickly and beautiful. Look, I'm not kidding, the one on the side, right? Nice and brown. And you can tell that this meat doesn't have a lot of water. It's good quality meat. This is like, pungent. So I'm gonna do a couple things. So this was a grilled steak, a grilled filet mignon. I would serve it with the potatoes. Oh, I forgot to put the rosemary on the potatoes. Usually for the rosemary on the potatoes, you have to cook it with when you're actually cooking the potatoes. I can't call it boiling because you're not boiling. You're cooking at the low boiling point. Okay? So let me take a little bit of this, lower the heat a bit. I'm going to get a clean pan. I'm going to quickly take it out, half of it. And now if I want to do my broccoli here, I already washed it. So I'm going to take my broccolini. Ah, where's my knife? Another knife. That's a knife. So this is how quickly is your beef with broccoli. Maybe put some green onions in there. Okay, cover it. And if you like, you can add a little bit of tamari sauce. This is a gluten-free soy sauce, pretty much. Just enough. And then I'm gonna flavor it up with a little bit of sesame seed oil. And just let it cook for a little bit. In the meantime, we're gonna take some mashed potato while that's cooking. Beautiful mashed potatoes. And there you go, mashed potatoes with the beautiful filet mignon. And you can, for plating it, you can just put a beautiful rosemary sprig. So that's filet mignon with mashed potatoes. And now I'm gonna grab a handle for this. Just give her a quick turn, turn it off. And that's perfect, and now I'll show you this dish. Look at the broccoli, how beautiful. And perfectly crunchy. So, and you'll see the juicy. Turn everything off. Oops. Maybe I'll get a spoon. And now we have a gorgeous dish, family style. Family style broccoli and beef. Or beef and broccoli. It should be beef and broccoli, right? Because there's more beef than broccoli. Check this out. And the smell is incredible. Well, folks, I showed you 3 recipes today. The first one that we did, the chicken bites with the honey garlic chicken bites. I showed you how to do the mashed potatoes without any water, basically. Okay, so all you need is a half a cup of water. I put 3/4 of a cup, but look at this. I ended up taking half of the cup. So look at how wonderful. This is how you can eat every single day. It's healthy, it's delicious, it's nutritious, and you cook everything in half the time. So anyway, please remember to share this video with your families and friends and acquaintances. Remember to host a party on your timeline You don't need to share it on my timeline because I already shared it on my timeline. So share it on your own timeline with your friends, have a watch party with your friends. And also, if you want to know more about this product, contact me directly and I can guide you to the best chef in your neighborhood, in your area, that can do a virtual demo for you, or it can show you the different set packages and things like that. But we also have a special promo that by you hosting a virtual video in your home, you don't have to leave your home. We don't even have to come to your home. We'll do a virtual demo, and we're gonna show you the different pieces and the different benefits of each of the pieces of the cookware. And then just for that, for watching one of those virtual videos, you'll get a beautiful bowl, which is a double wall where I like to make my ice cream and keep it here in the freezer. Anyway, do let me know. This is a special edition promotion. So not all the dealers will have it, but if you send me a private message, I will guide you to the best person possible to do a demo for you. Thank you very much for watching. God bless us all. Until then, this is your flexitarian friend, Jael Tanti. Have a happy, healthy, and wealthy day. Ciao.